So, at its most basic form, happiness is an emotion, and there are six basic emotions: sad, mad, scared, peaceful, powerful, and joyful. And from these six emotions stems every other emotion. So, we can take a look at a chart. Probably won't be able to see my little eye chart here. But what this is just a listing. You'll see some of the core emotions right here in the middle, and all the other emotions that stem out from that. For example, frustration and distant stem from being mad. Content and relaxed actually stem from being peaceful. In its most basic form, I believe that emotions are just vibrations in your body. They give you clues. They give you clues for what it is that you need to be paying attention to. Some people would look at this chart and say, well, these ones are the bad emotions and these ones are the good ones. I disagree. I believe that all emotions are valuable, and we'll keep talking about that as I go on to the next slide. So, what I'm hoping that you're seeing here is that positive to negative emotion, it's about 50-50. And this is true for most people on any given day, week, year, or over their lifetime. And when you accept the 50-50, then those negative emotions start to lose their power over you. When we villainize negative emotions and even negative circumstances as bad, we tend to push them away. We suppress them, and they become worse than they are. They feel worse inside than when we just express them and when we just accept and embrace that, yeah, I'm feeling, sad today. I'm feeling lonely today. Totally normal to feel these emotions. You are human, and that's part of being human. Pain, challenges, discomfort, it's part of being human. Tony Robbins said that unless you're in the grave, you're going to have problems. That's part of life. And so here's the thing: when I ask almost anyone, what do you want for your kids? Give me a yes if you have any children out there that are in their late teenage years or early 20s. If you have kids that are this age and someone asks you, what do you want for your kids at that age? There's some people that say, well, I want them to be successful. I want them to be healthy. You know what I hear the most? I just want them to be happy at that age, because it's such a challenging age for our youth, particularly right now. So, a better goal, I believe, is that we become more authentic and fully human, and to embrace the fact that we're not happy all of the time. Because when we don't, we start to look at everyone else's lives. This is the social media effect, right? Chad and I talked about this yesterday. And we start to judge ourselves and we wonder, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not as happy as Bill or Susie or Timmy? And that comparison makes us feel even more negative. But when we embrace the fact that it's 50-50, when we embrace the fact that, feeling sadness, feeling discomfort, feeling challenged, feeling fear are things that actually are good for us, right? If I were to take you in time 1 or 2 years from now, and you were to look back on this period in your life, you'd probably look back on it and say, I never want to go through that again. However, that was a huge period of growth and learning for me, a huge period of growth and learning from my business. And so all the things, all the challenging things that happen for us, are they really happening to us, or could we look at it as they're happening for us, for our growth? Maybe they're happening so that we can empathize and connect better with people as they go through challenges in their lives. So I want you to look at these two pictures. And again, in the chat box, what I'd love for you to do is type in, what emotion do you think these people are experiencing? Do you think they're sad, mad, scared, joyful, peaceful, or powerful? Which one? I see stress, pain, and fear, determined, anger, struggle, power, exhausted, powerful, powerful, joyful, power, sad, distraught, relief, happy, accomplished, pain, distress, fear, anger. Okay, so you guys are all over the place, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I think a lot of you may be a runner. You can probably recognize the face of these two individuals. If you are a runner, you know that these two runners are likely near the finish line after hours of pushing their bodies and after months and maybe years of training. I myself am a half marathon runner. I've had this look before. And what you know is that likely they are feeling pain and exhaustion, yet they're feeling this immense, immeasurable joy and, yes, power in this moment. So, why is that? First of all, there's this really cool things that we as human can do, and that's we have the ability to feel joy and pain in the exact same space. It's pretty remarkable. During COVID, I've had this underlying sense of joy and peace. I worked hard to get there. I wasn't there 7 years ago. I'll share that with you in a minute. And yet, at times, I've been scared. I've been mad, been sad, been worried, I've been frustrated, I've been angry, just like all of you. We can learn to hold these emotions in the same space. So the reason I shared this with you is that it does tie to the way that I like to define happiness. I believe that growth or progress equals happiness. And I believe that when you are progressing towards becoming a better version of yourself, even in the smallest of ways, when you're progressing is when you feel happy. And I want to make sure that you recognize that the reason those runners felt such joy was because they were growing. And we want to make sure that we really differentiate this word happiness from pleasure. Now, I'm all about pleasure as well. I believe there's a lot of space in my life for pleasure and happiness, but they are different. So, pleasure gives us these fleeting, momentary, positive feelings. And I believe that we should seek to create these moments of pleasure in our lives. We probably already know what is it that brings us these hits of pleasure. It makes life more fun. It makes it more enjoyable. However, the difference about happiness is that you can experience a happiness through the ups and the downs of life, even when things are not pleasurable. I want you to think about training for a big physical race or something like that, like a bike ride or a marathon. I want you to think about going after a big goal, like getting your master's or your college degree, or even having a child. And all of those things have stress and work and many challenges. They're not easy, they're not pleasurable, and yet we're happy because of the growth.